Hi guys, thank you guys for tuning into this presentation. I'm going to be presenting on the many lives of the Labyrinth, Art, Math, and Beyond. This is by me, Nicole Rubor, who's going to be doing the first half of this presentation, and also Trinity Davis, who's going to walk you guys through the other half. So let's jump right in. What is a labyrinth? So a labyrinth is a single circuitous, winding, and sometimes complex path where one walks from an entrance to the center, then back out. Labyrinths are typically formed as a circle with a singular path leading to a center and can be constructed out of a wide range of materials. Kind of an image right here showing you a labyrinth. You kind of have an idea of it. This one's made out of a hedge. Labyrinths are an ancient spiritual tool designed to foster contemplation and spiritual transformation. So, what's their purpose? Labyrinths are primarily used as tools for stress reduction, walking meditation, and enhancing mindfulness. The labyrinth is a tool to guide healing, deepen self knowledge, and empower creativity. Labyrinths offer a unique way to engage with oneself and the world, promoting both physical and mental well being. So, what's the difference between labyrinth and mazes? Although sometimes used interchangeably and maybe even looking similar at first glance, a labyrinth and a maze are quite different. A labyrinth is not a maze. It is not meant to confuse or frustrate you, as a labyrinth is designed to lead you to a center and it has only a single continuous non-branching path, journeying with only one entry and exit point. Meanwhile, a maze, in contrast, is a complex puzzle constructed to be confusing with multiple paths and choices, leading towards unforeseen dead ends and barriers. So the kind of this image illustrating the difference. The labyrinth kind of has one path, it'll get you to the middle. A maze, you're gonna get stuck with a dead end. So the history of labyrinths. So labyrinths are cross-cultural, meaning they are evident across a diverse range of cultures and locations. In fact, they've been found on every continent in the world except Antarctica. Furthermore, labyrinths are ancient, having been part of human society for more than 4,000 years. Notably, art forms across nearly every continent contain the seventh circuit or classical labyrinth symbol dating back to 2000 BCE. I kind of have it illustrated here. You can kind of see why it's called the seventh circuit. Some scholars theorize that perhaps Labyrinth's popularity has to do with the number 7, as many cultures place special meaning to this number. I have a couple examples. So one of the more famous and older labyrinths is located in the Chartres Cathedral. I kind of have an image of it here on the left-hand side. So monks used the labyrinth at the cathedral for Christian contemplation, beginning in 1205. Today it remains one of the most renowned labyrinths, drawing Christians from around the world. Like many labyrinths, it has a deeper and special meaning, as this labyrinth represents heaven, God, and spirit. It also symbolizes wholeness and eternity, meaning no beginning or end. Significantly, walking this labyrinth in the cathedral usually takes 20 to 35 minutes. Another famous and ancient example, located here on the right-hand side, is the Labyrinth of Minos from ancient Greece mythology. The labyrinth was designed by Diadas to imprison the Minotaur, a creature with the head of a bull and the body of a man on the island of Crete. And I kind of a quote at the bottom here. So the universality of the labyrinth shows that there exists something common shared by all ancient cultural systems. So it's pretty significant that it's been here for more than 4,000 years and across so many different cultures. Furthermore, have indigenous understanding, principles, and educational use. So labyrinths have been integrated into educational settings to connect students with nature, teach about indigenous knowledge systems, and foster a sense of place and belonging. Furthermore, in North American indigenous cultures, labyrinths have also been used to promote creativity and emotional intelligence, which fosters holistic learning. Additionally, in some indigenous traditions, the labyrinth path represents the journey of a deceased person's spirit to the realm of ancestors, highlighting the importance of knowing the path and honoring the deceased. One of the more famous examples is the man in the maze design, which is pictured in the center here, which is closely related to the medicine wheel, a sacred symbol in many plains indigenous cultures, which represents the cyclical nature of life, the four directions, and the interconnectedness of all things. The Pabagos Nation of Southwest Arizona refers to the man in the maze as the Tito, though it is, I think that's how you pronounce it, though it is not really a maze, but it is a labyrinth. The design depicts the legend of each human being traveling through life as though through a maze towards many turns while growing stronger and wiser, but always approaching death in the center. The symbol is currently a very popular design used in Southwestern art and crafts, still woven in baskets and made into jewelry to this day. Another example, kind of close to home, is Mary's Labyrinth, pictured on the right here, which is located on Treaty 4 territory or Cree and Thulux First Nations land in southern Saskatchewan. Mary's Labyrinth is Canada's first legacy labyrinth that honors First Nations people and acknowledges the need for healing the land. Legacy labyrinths are physically and energetically connected to one another, forming an energetic network to promote global healing and understanding. The network currently includes 6 labyrinths in 4 countries, which is pretty significant. But yeah, labyrinths are evident in various indigenous cultures that I explored. Additionally, I included a picture of a Navajo sand painting here on the left, depicting how labyrinths can come in many shapes and forms. This one's kind of cool. It's like snakes. And yeah, so math in labyrinths. So labyrinths can also represent complex mathematical ideas. The winding paths reflect concepts from geometry, topology, and especially graph theory. In art and architecture, labyrinths symbolize journeys, puzzles, or philosophical ideas of order and chaos. Their structure often follows symmetrical or fractal patterns, showcasing mathematical beauty in visual form. So the symmetry of labyrinths can be illustrated in this image here on the left here by comparing the plan of the Chartres Cathedral labyrinth. So that's the labyrinth I kind of explored in the church or the cathedral. So that's the plan of it on the left. And on the right here is the simplified developed image. So the image on the right kind of illustrates the overall 180 degrees rotational symmetry, which exchanges the blue and black parts of the wall. Furthermore, in mathematics, labyrinths are modeled as graphs where intersections, also known as nodes, and paths, also known as edges, create networks. So this is kind of pictured above here. Furthermore, algorithms like depth first search or DFS and A* are used to solve these mazes, mimicking how a person might navigate them. Today, labyrinths are used in game design, where AI navigates environments using the same path-finding algorithms that stem from mathematical principles. So math and labyrinths are actually very much intertwined, and not even intentionally. They just are. That's how cool they are. Yeah, so Trinity's gonna kind of take over the second half of this presentation, where she's gonna explore where we can find the uses of labyrinths. And thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, Nicole, for presenting the first half of our presentation, and I'll be taking over the second half, and we're going to be looking at labyrinths and environmental design. Labyrinths haven't only been symbolic. They've served real practical purposes throughout history. In ancient times, places like Persia and Crete used labyrinth-like irrigation channels to slow water down and give the earth time to absorb. It's an early example of eco-conscious design. Today we use similar principles in things like rain gardens and bioswales. These green infrastructures use winding layouts to filter and slow stormwater, helping to prevent any urban flooding. Even large-scale engineering like labyrinth spillways and dams use these concepts. Their zigzag forms increase how much water can safely flow out of a reservoir without widening the dam. For example, we take the Diana Memorial Fountain in London. It guides water through a spiral-like path that's calming and interactive. Besides environmental design, labyrinths are an incredible tool for education because they make abstract mathematical ideas tangible. When students physically build or draw a labyrinth, they are engaging with concepts like geometry, patterning, and sequencing, but in a hands-on, creative way. It's not just about solving equations, it's about moving through a space and understanding how math shapes design. That's why labyrinths are used in STEAM education. They're perfect for bridging math and art or science and storytelling. Whether it's a printed pattern or a chalk drawing or a walkable installation, the process encourages mathematical reasoning, problem solving, and even spatial empathy. It's a great example of how single form, like a labyrinth, can foster interdisciplinary learning and inspire curiosity across the subject. Moving away from ancient and scientific concepts, labyrinths can also be embedded deep in the logic of modern game design and computer science. Many maze and pathfinding algorithms, like the depth first search or A*, come straight from graph theory, which mirrors the logic of labyrinths. These algorithms help games figure out how the player or character should move through a complex environment, like solving a puzzle in real time. Game developers also use procedural generation to create environments that feel unpredictable, but are built using mathematical rules. So even when a game world looks random, it's actually based on a structured, labyrinth-like logic. And when it comes to a level design, labyrinth principles are key. Think of games like The Legend of Zelda, Journey, or Elden Ring. These games use winding paths, dead ends, and hidden shortcuts to build tension, mystery, and a narrative pacing. The player becomes a part of the puzzle, navigating a space where math, shapes, and experiences occur. In short, labyrinths are more than visual. They are interactive systems built from algorithm and design thinking. And in closing, what can we take away from this presentation? Labyrinths are single, continuous, winding paths. Labyrinths and mazes are different. Unlike mazes and labyrinths, they are not trying to confuse you, and they will not have dead ends. Labyrinths are primarily used as tools for stress reduction, walking meditation, and enhancing mindfulness. Labyrinths are cross-cultural and ancient and have been a part of human society for more than 4,000 years. Labyrinths have been used in indigenous cultures as sacred landmarks to help foster in learning and promote connection to the land and oneself. Math and labyrinths can closely intertwine themselves as they also reflect symmetry, topology, graph theory, and geometry. Thank you guys so much for listening to us both. We hope you enjoyed the presentation and gained some knowledge about labyrinths and such. Here we have our cited sources. And I thank you for listening once again, and bye!